Hey everyone, my name's Lily and I'm the book blogger behind Utopia State of Mind, and today we're going to be doing another one of these Guess the Book editions, I guess. So earlier I think we did 2021 books, and today we're going to do some 2020. I think I got all of the ones from 2021, so hopefully I get at least some of these from 2020, but it's been a while, so honestly I'm not too optimistic. So let's just get into it. I'll link it below if you have not seen the 2021 edition. And if you haven't, basically what happens is like part of a summary will be read to me, and then I'll have to figure out what the title of the book is. And then hopefully I'll remember enough about it where I can say a little bit about the book as well. So let's just jump in.
The first prompt, a story about activism. How our individual actions can feel small, but how much of an impact they can make. It's a story that celebrates progress, resilience, and hope.
Is that all I get? I feel like that's not fair. I feel like so many of the books I read are about exactly that. I feel like all of the books I read are a story about activism and hope. And I feel like none of this is anything... There's no plot in that. Is it like... in 2020.
From my rough understanding, it could be 3 stories.
But 3 stories is more than 1 story, and that's what I need. I need 1 title, not 3. I don't get it. I don't know. There's too many things that fall into under that category, and as I said, it doesn't have anything to do with the plot, so I don't know.
Okay, I was supposed to be yes, no, maybe, so.
Yeah, but like that's so broad level because...
How would you have described it?
Okay. Yes, no, maybe. So I'm pretty sure it's a dual authored book between Aisha Saeed and Becky Albertalli, and they're both talking about like voting, and they're canvassing their neighborhoods to help like a local election, I think. So not like the big election, but a local election. And they're trying to combat a bunch of other things like white supremacy. I think there was like a bumper sticker or some graffiti along those lines, and they're also countering like Islamophobia. And so the 2 main characters are going around canvassing. But yes, I mean, yes, it's about activism, but like, so are a lot of things that I read.
Okay, the next prompt is a book that deals with the loss of friendship. Sometimes best friends aren't forever.
Is that all?
Yes.
What the heck? I don't know. I don't have anything. Like, I can think of 5 books where best friends are lost. I don't think, like, I don't have anything to narrow it down, really. That's...
Which ones would you think of?
Well, this is what I don't understand. Lost, like, are they dead? Because I know a bunch of books where the best friend's dead. Are they just, like, do they have a falling out? Like, I feel like there's a little bit of details missing in that thing. Do you have like do you have like a few different options, like a larger synopsis after this?
Not really.
Oh my god. Then I don't know. I give up then on this one.
I meant to tease the When You Were Everything. Ashley Woodfolk?
Yeah, but see, in that one, they're not dead. Like, they just have like a best friend breakup. My copy isn't with me, but they just have a best friend breakup, and then she's like moves to a new school, and then I think she has new friends, but she's still connected to the old one. I mean, it is a story about friendship, but like, I don't know. Yes, okay.
For the next one, it's about a 10-year game between life and death pits the walled Oklahoma city of Elysium including a girl gang of witches and a demon who longs for humanity against the supernatural in order to judge mankind.
It's the Elysium Girls.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like this dystopian, competitive book that happens exactly like that, but it also has a lot to do with kind of friendship and conspiracy. I feel like secrets are a huge theme in that book, and I feel like secrets in general are huge themes in dystopias, so it's like a dystopia competition kind of vibe. I feel like there's also maybe some magic or like something supernatural, fantastical in it as well.
The next prompt: an overachiever enrolls in an experimental clone study to prove that two of her own heads are better than one.
It's Half-Life by Lillian J. Clark.
Correct.
I don't read that many books about clones, so honestly that's probably the first, or not the first one, but that's probably one of the only, I probably can name off the top of my head maybe 3 or 4 books where I've read in my whole life that deal with clones, and this is like a YA clone story as well. I feel like the other clone stories I read are adult, mystery, suspense kind of situations, whereas this one is more about having to deal with like your own issues when you come up against them, quite literally, because it's a clone.
Very good. The next one: a proud black, queer, and transgender student receives transphobic messages. His plan for catfishing revenge lands him in a love triangle.
Is this the Black Flamingo?
Yep.
I don't know. It's such a unique synopsis that I feel like I should know it, and it rings a few bells, but not like a complete title story name bell.
It was meant to be Felix Ever After.
Okay, Felix Ever After makes sense. I really love Kaysen's worlds and Kaysen's characters. I feel like I've read a bunch of their books. I don't think I've read all of them, but I've read a bunch of their books since then. Felix Ever After was obviously one I read in 2020, which is a while ago, and since then I've read more of the middle grade by Kaysen Calendar, because I think that's the last name. So it's just been completely overwritten. But yeah, Felix Ever After is like a really beautiful book also about friendship and about kind of having to come to terms with your own, not biases, but like your own ideas about the world and your own ideas about how like relationships and identity and love and stuff are supposed to be.
The next prompt is: the main character has been crammed into an existence that feels too small for her in Florida. An undocumented immigrant who's on the run from her father's Argentine crime family. Her surrogate grandmother is attacked, lifelong lies are exposed, and her mother is arrested. The character investigates the only clue she has about her past, a mysterious Z emblem.
This is Lobizona. Because Cazadora hadn't come out yet. Cazadora, the duology is finished. It's a duology of, I think, No Wolves. It's not No Wolves, but like No something. This is the name of the duology series. I actually have them up there. And I think what is so fun about that synopsis, and also specifically the story of Lobizona, is that that kind of aspect is certainly one part of the story, but then there's this also other aspect about football where I think she is going to become, or wants to become, like a football player. And then another third aspect about her kind of related to that one, confronting and coming to terms, well, not coming to terms, I guess like coming to head, I don't know what the idiom is for that, but like butting heads, I guess, with gender stereotypes and kind of gender traditions within the society. And I feel like it's really, what I love about Lobizona is specifically that from that synopsis, you don't get any of that, but that kind of like also magical school, it kind of just shows up as well in the book. So I feel like if you like all of those things, you definitely should pick it up because you can't really tell from the synopsis that that's even there.
I didn't. The next prompt is: the collective account of a tight-knit group of young Nisei, second-generation Japanese-American citizens whose lives are irrevocably changed by the mass U.S. incarcerations of World War II.
I guess that sounds a lot like We Are Not Free But it's weird because I didn't realize We Are Not Free came out in 2020. 2020 feels like 5 million years ago, which is also why I'm having trouble with it. And I feel like in 2020, a lot of things happened that were quite long-lasting effects that we're feeling obviously today. And so I can't believe that 2020 and like We Are Not Free was that same year. We Are Not Free, it's like 15, I think, different POVs from all of these different Japanese teens who are going through struggles of their own identity when coming up against the like mass incarceration of their families. And you know, are they Japanese, are they American, where do they lie, and where does their sense of belonging and hope, I was gonna say hope, but home lie, and how do they navigate that while also just like trying to grow up, and right, these conflicting pressures of growing up and also having to deal with this intense racism and the loss of their homes and like the loss of belongings and stuff. So it's fantastic. I think it won a award, maybe the National Book Award. I think it won an award, and it's just so heart-wrenching but also hopeful and inspiring in the best way, kind of like a roller coaster of all of the emotions basically on the entire spectrum of the world.
Okay. For the next prompt, this is just a part of it, so it's not a synopsis of the whole book, but maybe it's remarkable enough for you to get it. There's a situation where the babysitter of a woman is accused of kidnapping because of the color of her skin. And
yeah, I think this is such a fun age.
it is.
I read it for a book club, and that's the main premise, is that this happens at the very beginning of the book, and it makes them kind of have to question all of the racism within our society, and specifically our contemporary society, because it is set around nowadays kind of ish. This was a really interesting book that I read for the book club, my IRL book club, so not like not an internet book club, like a real life book club. And I remember it being so popular, the book, and specifically I feel like when we read it, there are like 5 different covers of the book, like many different editions and everything that were coming out. So it was certainly in the boom period, I guess, of reading that book. I'm not sure if the boom period is still going on, but it was certainly like we were reading it when it was really fresh off the presses.
The next prompt is: a teen social activist and history buff is killed under mysterious circumstances after attending a social justice rally. His sister then goes on a road trip using the Negro Motorist Green Book.
Oof. I know this, but I can't think of the title. For a second I thought it was something else. And I thought it was I Hope You Get This Message, which is not, because that one is multi-perspective, also the aliens are coming kind of book. This one is so familiar to me, and the name is like obviously not sticking to my tongue, but it's just escaping me.
It's one of the good ones.
Yeah, it is one of the good ones. It's because, yeah, what got me about that one is that one of the good ones is dual perspective, because I'm pretty sure it's a sister combo that are writing it, and it's dual perspective, so that perspective in the synopsis that was just read is one half of the book, whereas the other half of the book is like a different perspective. I think about someone who actually lives in LA, I think, because I think LA is where the events of its happening is, I think, or I can't remember how they end up connecting, but it is 2 perspectives and 2 characters who are going through this, and I think one of the characters is the one who's going on the road trip. Or no, I think it might be 2 siblings. I think it's 3 siblings, and so one of them is the main character in the synopsis, and I think that 2 siblings who are thinking about going on the road trip or something like that. But I remember that this one, after I read Dear Haiti Love Elaine, I think is the duo's like first book, their first debut book, because I remember meeting them around the time of that book, something along the names of that title, and I remember really loving it, and I didn't think that I could love another book that they've done more, but one of the good ones actually I ended up loving a whole lot more. not because the other one was bad, but because I thought that it was so unique and clever how one of the good ones plays with this idea of being one of the good ones and what that means for racism and society when you're kind of pitted against your family or your community as being like the exception to the racism. And so I felt like that was a really interesting and intelligent and also really important perspective to have, which is why I love one of the good ones better than the first one, which is something about deer and love. Like, those are both in the title.
The next prompt. A character and her cat cafe become famous after coming forward as victims of a celebrity chef's sexual harassment. A new customer, claiming to be her sister, confides in her, leading her to investigate with her best friend, a computer security expert.
Oh, this is a romance book. The Cat Cafe threw me for a little bit because I was thinking, I don't read, like, Cat Cafe. But it is a romance book because I can't remember the name of the book. But the cybersecurity best friend and, like, all of that. Wait, what can you say? Can you read the synopsis again, please?
Character and her cat cafe become famous after coming forward as victims of a celebrity chef's sexual harassment. A new customer, claiming to be her sister, confides in her, leading her to investigate with her best friend, a computer security expert.
Is it one of the Bromance book club series? I just can't remember what it is. Actually, I think that it might be my favorite one of the series, which is really, so hold on, what were they? What, like the names of the series, or the names of the books are, I mean, the first one's Bromance Book Club. And then, they all have something to do with, like, bros of some sort.
It's the third one, if that helps you.
No, I know it's the third one, because the second one... And then I recently read the fourth one, which was about the Russian player. I just have no idea what the third one is called. The names are all, like, smushing together into an amalgamation of a bunch of different bro words, which is not actually what it's called.
Well, you can call this one Crazy Stupid Bromance.
Yeah, Crazy Stupid Romance. And then on the cover, there's a cover, I feel like, of a beer can and a cat. That's why, I think this is probably, though, my favorite, because it is friends to lovers, I'm pretty sure, is, like, one of the main tropes, in Crazy Stupid Romance. And I do remember the allegation aspect. The synopsis got me for a second, because actually the main character is not the one who is coming out with the allegations. It's actually the other two characters, like her supposed sister and then her friend / maybe hacker, like, person, or helping this other person. So that got me for a second. But yeah, I really like this Bromance book club series as a whole. DJ Life and Fiction really was pushing them, and so then I read them, and I think I read 1, 2, and 3 within, like, 2 months, basically, or less than that. I think I just read them back to back. But I think that even now that I've read all 4, because I think there are 4 out now, I still think that number 3, and this one specifically, is probably my favorite, because I feel like in each one we're able to see a side character in a new light, and personally, I really enjoy seeing side characters in new lights. I think that it's really telling about the wealth of a story that a side character has to tell. You know, I think that we can see them a lot as kind of what they do for the main character. And so all these companion novel series work really well, and they give that character a life of their own. And that's why I've really loved this series in general. But I think that for me in this one, it was really hard to pick a character that I loved more, because it is dual perspective for the supposed sister and her best friend. Like, I think it is dual perspective for them, and so it was really hard for me to pick a character I love more, whereas in the other ones it's a lot more clear for me to pick a favorite character. And I personally I love books where I can't pick a favorite character, so that's why I love that one the most. But yeah, it is that book. So that brings us to the end of the guessing. Obviously I didn't do as well as I did the first time, but I can only blame the fact that it's been 2 years, maybe more than 2 years, depending on when I read it, because I think I read one of the good ones, honestly, in, like, February of 2020. And also 2020 was it was really intense year for everybody. So if you had a fun time watching this, please let me know below. Also let me know if you want me to do one for I guess 2019. If you didn't know, I've been blogging for over 5 years, probably more like 6 years. I think 6 years. So I probably could do 2019, but I want to preface that by saying that my results will be way worse than the one you just saw. And I think that obviously maybe that's more entertaining for you to watch me kind of really struggle. So let me know if you want me to do 2019 edition. But anyway, I hope you had a really fun time. Please let me know your favorite book from 2020. 2020 was like a really hard year for everyone, but just let me know what your favorite book was. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!